Good morning and welcome, Patriot Radio News Hour. I'm Joe Jaquint, CEO of the Patriot Trading Group, and our toll-free number, 800-951-0592. Welcome to Tuesday, and I'll tell you right now, I'm uncertain. I'm a little nervous. You know, yesterday, I flew into town late Sunday. It was actually kind of nice, not too cold. Yesterday was a nice day. Today, it's colder, and, you know, there's this rain, snow talk, and I don't like it, Jason. I'll tell you right now, I don't like it. But this is crazy weather here, because I think it's going to be like 80 degrees on Thursday, so, you know, who knows?
That's true. Yeah, in the building we had the heat shut off. We were, even for Colorado, this is late for the cold rain and the snow stuff, but had to get the heat back on. It was chilly in here.
Yeah, it's not that bad, really. But I'm just like snow. I keep looking outside, going, well, I don't remember the last time I drove in snow. Yeah, it's been that long. So I'm not. Listen, I'm not the smartest guy in the world. But I'm not an idiot, right? So I try not to come up here when I know there's the potential to have snow on the ground. So you would think, okay, it's the 24th of May. You thought I'd be safe.
Well, the last couple of Mays we've had snow. As I used to be a pizza delivery driver and a process server, driving all the time. I got used to driving in snow, but usually in May there's no snow. And April and May snow generally just melts. So if we get snow, you'll be all right. But even you don't like driving on wet streets probably a lot of rain.
Yeah, well, in Arizona, when it rains, first of all, we love it. We're one of the, rain, all right. But no one knows how to drive in it, including me. I barely know how to drive when it's sunny outside. So there you have it. There's the weather for you, in case you were wondering. Sports after the break. But the Dow getting jackhammered down today. You know, I'm starting to look really smart about that stuff. I told you yesterday. This is a great selling opportunity. Right now, anyway, and it's still early. The Dow's down 450. The Nasdaq's down 400. Gold let's face it, gold got way oversold. Everybody knew it, and it's just getting back to where it needs to be. Up again today, 1866, 1867. So, you know, gold now up about $75 from the low and continues to rally here. And again, today, why is it? Why was the Dow up 600 points yesterday? Because there was no economic data out, and they could all, think about, maybe fingers crossed that, inflation's magic. The inflation fairy's going to come and magically lower prices. Joe Biden's not going to be so senile. I mean, Jay Powell's going to get it back. But none of those things. Today, the economic data started. We had the producers coming out today. Boy, was it ugly. And again, the same thing. Less orders, higher prices. What do I keep telling you? New home sales was an absolute disaster. Now, everybody said, hey, it's gonna go down. But come on, and this was an April number. You know, people are out there buying in April. I mean, that's how it works. April and May are great months. So they said, it's just going to be down a little bit, just a little bit. You know, I don't know who these economists are, right? Maybe they're just too busy getting ready to go to the Hamptons to understand what's actually happening. So they're thinking down 1.6%. How about 16.6%? Just a collapse. And this was new home sales. Here was the thing, and remember last week, and I know, Joe, you're just talking crazy talk. Remember when I told you last week the home builders were talking layoffs? But you're like, well, I didn't see that on Jim Cramer's show. Maria Bartiromo didn't say that. Yeah, I did. Almost a 10-month supply now of new homes. So seemingly we went from no new homes at all to new homes everywhere. And here's the thing, the only ones actually selling, kind of contrary, but it makes a lot of sense, the expensive ones. That's it. The people that have money. You know what's not selling? The $400,000, the $500,000, the $600,000 homes. It's the $1 million plus homes that are doing the selling. So really disturbing economic numbers on the retail site. Snap. It's one of those fancy credit card apps. A lot of like food trucks, and if you're mobile out there in this economy, Snap's one of those. It's great technology. You can take credit cards with it, like right on your phone. Right, you just plug your thing in, a little adapter in there, and you can swipe credit card. It's fantastic, great. That sucks down 40% today after their earnings abomination. And Jason, the people now, they're starting to talk recession. Of course, it's going to be much worse than that, and I hope people are going to get ready for it. I really do, because it's coming. It's here.
I've seen a couple guys really, really in the gloom and doom, saying this is what we're heading into could be worse than a depression. What is that? Is there a word for that?
I don't know. Maybe we should make one up. I'm not smart enough. We'll get the thesaurus out, and let's just see if we can find a word. We'll get the dictionary out. Heck, we'll even dust off an encyclopedia and come up with a word worse than depression. 800-951-0592. Yeah, you might need a new financial advisor before this is all said and done. If you need a guy to help you out, call my son, 602-909-9048. I know this. I'm sleeping real good at night. Real good. As the blood pressure. Jason was just, here's the sad part. Jason had the calculator out. He's doing the math. The NASDAQ, I'm like down 400 points. The NASDAQ's down 30%.
From January 3rd this year.
That's not even 5 months. And again, the Dow, the best performer, and it's down, 16, 17%. But they got a lot more ways to go. Abercrombie and Fitch, that's the teen retailer. And again, I don't understand how these guys could have these stock prices so overpriced. When I'm telling you, Snap falls 40%. Abercrombie and Fitch down 35%, saying earnings an absolute disaster, slashing sales outlook, expenses. They're saying, here's a new word. We're talking about new words for depression. Here's new words for layoffs. Ready for this? This was the Abercrombie CEO. The retailer will manage its expenses tightly. Yes, we're going to manage it tightly. That means you're fired. Okay, and again, I've been telling you this underbelly of this economy is really reflective. A lot of these stocks apparently, and I want to say Snap as an example, it's down 86% in the last less than a year. I mean, you can see how it's going. Of course, Snap said, well, yeah, we're going to look at our hiring. That was another one. Look at it. Because they were hiring like crazy. Hire. Oh, wait, stop. It's bad when Walmart says we've got too many people. It's Walmart. It's real. What do you mean you got too many people? Right? There's always those jobs they can't, push a broom, clean up the bathrooms, go get the carts, right? Have a checker. Of course, you got self-checkout now, but again, this is the pattern. And you're seeing, and think about the devastation it does. And I feel terrible for the guy, if you're my age. Right? I'm 51. I mean, this is what I'm supposed to be, super saving here. Right? I've got one kid done with college. I got one kid left. Got a couple of years left. How about the guy that's 55? Hey, all my kids are done. Right? And this is when I got to start really putting it away. And you're just getting black. How about the guy? He's 62. Man, you were feeling pretty good last year, weren't you? You were hoping I was just full of baloney. The problem is, here's the bad part. Let's just say you just turned 62. I hate to tell you what it's going to look like when you're 63. Because there's a lot more to go on this. How about U.S. automakers? You know, I know this is, again, this fantasy that used car prices are starting to fall. Because they fell like 1 month. Yeah, they went back up. New cars, though. Tesla, Cadillac, Toyota, right? I mean, everybody saying we have to raise prices. And they're saying, due to changing market conditions, the market conditions aren't changing. Everything's getting more expensive. How is that changing? It's the same condition. And they're saying that rising commodity costs, rising fuel costs, rising labor, you get the drift. And now they're saying, oh, by the way, whatever genius decided that we needed to start making all these cars electric, we got a big problem.
You know, I think there's a correlation, Joe, with the NASDAQ falling harder than the other two because, it's nice to have all the little gadgets and conveniences, but when food and fuel become very expensive and difficult, you drop those devices. I wonder how many times the NASDAQ has gone down in the past correlating with food and fuel problems.
You want to know another liar today? Best Buy. They didn't fall 32% because their CEO said, sales are slowing. But we don't see a recession. Yeah, okay, wait, time for a new CEO. That's what I'm going to tell you. Hey, Best Buy, give me a call. We'll talk about it. Tesla. This one's going to be important. Elon Musk, Tesla's been getting obliterated, and rightfully so. But they announced that they are going to return today to the pre-lockdown production schedule. They got a main plant in Shanghai, and I just bring that up. That just means there you go. This is it. China's getting ready to start reopening, and man, we are going to be faced with this horrible double whammy of everything here slowing, and all of a sudden 500 million people are going back to work in China. And not just going back to work. Okay, you can actually leave your apartment. You can actually leave your house. Right, these people haven't been able to leave their house in like 6-8 weeks. So a flood of demand coming from there. So we're going to get this double whammy of higher energy costs and all of a sudden lower consumption happening, and none of this setting up for a very good summer.
You would think that they open up and there'd be more goods and services, maybe slow down that inflation, but who's going to buy the stuff that's suddenly going to be coming and people aren't buying the little bit that's out there?
Well, we need demand destruction. I keep talking about it, but now here's the sad part. I think we're going to start seeing it.
Yep.
But China's going to pick it up, so there is no destruction.
Right.
Right, this is the problem, right? This is a huge problem. And again, I think it's just really beholden on what is yet to come. The Fed, this was all caused by the central bank. This was their practices. Nobody told them to expand their balance sheet to $9 trillion. No one told them to do all those illegal operations that we found out a decade and a half later where they were very quietly bailing out all of these banks and making this bubble this much worse. And now all of a sudden, think about what I just said about new homes. New homes fell 17% in a month. That's a month. And yet, the price didn't go down. It actually did the opposite. It went way up. They went from 6 months supply in a month to a 10-month supply. That tells you how low. Did you sell any houses, right? Think about that. And yet, the price went up.
The fact that they hold a $9 trillion balance sheet to hold up their Ponzi scheme is bad enough. Come on. I mean,
that's almost a third of the national debt. I mean, that's to give it. Now, here's the sad part. Guess what? $2.7 trillion of that is mortgage-backed securities.
Yeah, and our housing market isn't as big as China's, and China's housing market's crashing.
Hey, listen, the Fed can't sell them. Right now, they're balance sheet runoff. They're just selling treasuries. You want to know why? Because there ain't a sane person in the world that wants to touch a mortgage-backed security right now.
Maybe they'll buy twice as many mortgage-backed securities and dump twice as many.
I don't know.
Right? The balance sheet can come down, but you can bring up the mortgage-backed securities and try to save that thing while you're selling off your balance sheet.
Could very well be. You know what? I didn't even think that could very well be one of those things. But again, it's a problem because they're already saying that a lot of people don't even want to pay market for these mortgage-backed securities. And again, that's another. I'm just talking about indicators. When you hear stuff like that, that tells you we've got problems.
Well, that's how Too Big to Fail worked. They had to buy all those bad mortgages. They had to buy all those bad mortgages to float it through the Obama years, right? That's what they did. So they're already got it in their possession. So where is it going to end up? Why do we feel like however much they sell off, it's going to be mostly, like you said, just treasuries.
Listen, this is a huge problem.
And plus, people are thinking the markets, the Wall Street, they love treasuries. They think that's a flight to safety. So they might be able to sell those a lot easier.
I'm going to say this right now. The banks are in big trouble here. I know Jamie Dimon yesterday with all of his unicorns and rainbows, right? Oh, no, we're going to be fine. You know when you know it's trouble? When Jamie Dimon feels the need to go out on TV and tell you, oh, no, it's going to be just fine. This is a rerun. This is don't forget. 2 weeks before Bear Stearns went under, their CEO was on CNBC telling you how great his company was. Now, I'm not saying Jamie Dimon and JP Morgan's going under in 2 weeks. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is the fact that he felt the need to try to say it tells you how much trouble there really is. When people are out there saying the Fed isn't selling any mortgage-backed securities, they've never done that. They've never done it. When they do their buying and when they do their selling of their balance sheet, it's always a mixture of treasuries and mortgages. Treasuries and mortgages. No mixture. Well, why would that be?
Someone's not buying one of them. That's why.
That's exactly why. Having your money in the bank, I'm going to tell you right now, I've been warning you and warning you and warning you. I don't know how much time it is. I say, listen, I just said it won't be 2 weeks. It could be. I don't know. The day the market decides that's it, we're not buying, what happens? Right? You get the liquidity crisis, and all of a sudden, everybody starts panicking. I don't know when that's going to be, but it sure looks like that's where we're headed.
It's usually when some emergency pops up in the news cycle. So, yeah, which you've been saying October, which it doesn't matter. I'll tell you this, I was watching some stuff on Russia, the history of Russia last night, and, man, we actually could watch a full-scale war in Russia, not in Europe, in Russia. I was watching the history. It's like Russia's kind of an unconquerable country because when they collapse, everything ends up going back to being Russia. It's just the way, the nature of that area of the world. So if you're going to create a huge emergency, well, what if Finland and Europeans sort of push in with Ukraine? Maybe Ukraine not only just wins the war in Ukraine, they start going into Russia. Russia's collapsing, that would be the news cycle, and suddenly you've got the biggest emergency you need. Well, I'm sorry your home prices are collapsing and things are economically bad, but hey, look what's going on in Russia.
Henry Kissinger was out. I didn't even know he was still alive.
Still alive,
right?
Man.
Right? But finally someone just said the truth. Ukraine, you need to give that land to Russia. Because before they redrew the maps, it was Russia.
Yep.
Right? Just give it back to them so we can end this whole thing. Of course, everybody freaks out. It's okay for Joe Biden to say, no, we're going to militarily defend Taiwan and China attacks. Everyone's like, what? But again, this is the issue. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know. But sign after sign after sign. How did we get to 10 month supply? When did that happen? Remember, we can't finish a home. Remember? Oh, we don't have the garage door. We don't have the washer. We don't have the dishwasher, the dryer, the cabinet. There's no point. We can't find the toilet. Now all of it, just think how fast this happened.
Or it wasn't happening the way they were telling
right,
us. Right.
All of a sudden, by the way, we got 10 months worth of homes.
A lot of people were selling, Joe, in the last year or two, thinking, well, I'm gonna have this big pocket of cash. And
I don't know. Man, I want to be wrong on this one. I'm not as confident in this one, but man, do I got a bad feeling in the next 90 days, this whole housing market's going to lock up. Patriot Radio News Hour. We'll be back after the break. 800-951-0592. Just look at, man. Price premiums on silver going up again. Just let Connie and Brittany know I'm going to be changing prices of silver eagles. Man, what did we have them at last week?
720 or 730. Yeah.
Didn't we do? I think we even got down to 700 one day or close to it. Right
yep.
now,
710. Yeah,
we're probably looking. I know right now. I think we're at 745 or 750. It's got the premiums just jumped $1. By the way. Silver over $22, so we've been waiting for that one. That's a big technical number for silver. I've got 100, and this is a gift. I'm going to give you a gift today. 100 $5 Liberties at $595. Based on this price sheet, I'm just staring at everything that's on the website right now. All those prices got to go up, and they were $605 at the time. So I got $105 Liberties, $595 today, and today only at 800-951-0592. Of course, we've seen huge, just outrageous demand in this fractional market because so many people, me included, I absolutely think this is exactly what's going to happen. We're going to a digital currency, and for those things you want to have that the government doesn't want you to have, you better have something to trade. And the biggest number one thing they're going to want, you got gold? Do you got silver? No? No thanks. No thanks. You can't have it then. And this is why I think we're seeing this huge demand in the fractional market, Jason.
Yeah, I've talked to Joe over the few years I've been with him here on Patriot, and one of the things I noticed when 2018, 2019, when demand was a lot lighter for gold for Patriot, since I've been here, you can buy a $20 gold piece for like $12.50, you know, and now it's $2,200 or somewhere around there. And how many times have we heard it? Well, the inflation, you know, and the price is going up, but the wages aren't going up, you know. So the money in your pocket is the same. The gold prices are going up. So instead of heavier demand for these 1 ounce gold pieces that we sell, now it's going to be the half ounce, and it drops down to the quarter ounce. And so, we used to sell these, I think, in 2018 for like $400, you know, for $5 Liberty. And now we're at $595 on sale.
That's on sale.
That's on sale, and I mean that's close to where the $10 Liberties were when I first came in. We had them under $1,000 when I first came in, so people aren't able to buy 2,000 gold. They weren't able to buy it, several years ago, so they're getting what they can get. Because you know what? If you hold it there, at least that money's protected, Joe.
And I'm going to say, and it's a really good point, where what used to buy an ounce only buys a half ounce only buys a quarter of an ounce, and the sad realities are, because as Wall Street, because when we talk about, there's leading indicators, right, and there's lagging indicators. Wall Street's a lagging indicator. The Fed has proven to be a lagging indicator, right? These guys are always behind what they're saying the economy. It never does it. It never gets anywhere close to as good. They paint the best picture possible, right? They're trying to, Jay Powell's trying to do Bob Ross. The problem is he keeps screwing it up. And what we're going to be facing is, again, this rapid decline. And this is what gold always does, right? It always does it. Okay. And everybody out there knows over the last 2 years, I don't think there's a person in America that has said buying gold's a bad idea.
Yep.
Right? Not one. But yet it's not 3,000. Right? I mean, let's face it. Gold just fell over $100, a few weeks ago. Now I'm starting to get it back, but you're like, what? Because they want to be delusional. The second the delusion ends with Jim Cramer, they know nothing, and Wall Street won't open on Monday, and all of a sudden, bam! Gold puts on 1,000. And to Jason's point, okay, you used to be able to buy a 20. Now you're only going to be able to buy a 5. At least right now, that 20 is a 10 and the 10 is a 5. I got a bad feeling this time next year, you're going to be saying the same thing, but saying, man, I remember when I first started here, that price on the $5 Liberty, that's what a 20 used to cost.
Yeah, I bought a 20 in 2018 from Jason in Colorado for $1,250. Now it's $1,300 for a $5 Liberty.
Right. So here at $5.95, get all you can at 800-951-0592. And again, right now the Dow's down about 500 points. Remember yesterday's 600-point rally, all done away. The big news came out of the housing market, where the new home sales. What do you call that? It's got to be collapse. When you fall almost 17% in a month, inventory spike. But once again, and remember, I told you this is not your old school depression we're going into. This is a new one. Whatever, we didn't have a depression because they printed too much money.
How about a double depression?
Right? They didn't print too much money because the money was still gold.
Right.
So they got rid of it, right? They finally were able to get rid of it. This is going to be a depression like no other, where all of a sudden you have horrible shortages. Because very easily, how many farmers are going to go out of business? And I'm not just talking here at home, but this is a global. All of you are starting to realize real quick, we can't even feed ourselves right now without the rest of the world, because that's how codependent we've made our country. And now all of a sudden, the Ukraine farmer can't farm, and all of a sudden we've got a shortage.
Yeah, the news is out that there's 10 weeks of wheat storage left in Europe. That doesn't bode well for us, because like Joe said, if we run out, or if we can't supply the people that are buying it from us, it dries up. It gets really bad.
They're talking about energy prices could be 5 to 10% of your income. I mean, that's nuts.
There was a major power outage last weekend in Denver.
Be ready. Half the country, and no one wants to hear this, but it's true. Half the country's at risk of power failure.
Yep. I was at a wedding, Joe, and one of the grooms was like, yeah, man, my power's been out all week. And he's at the wedding seeing if his power's come back on, checking in. That's in the Denver area, power outage. I'm sure there's some excuse for it, but Joe, there's always going to be some excuse when things aren't working, right? It's always going to be something to point it at.
Right. It's always, it's this problem and that problem. We need an investigation.
It was a bird. It was a bird on a transformer, right?
It's a bird. It's a plane.
It's a squirrel.
It's the spotted owl. We'll be right back. 800-951-0592. U.S. $5 Liberty gold pieces. These are the older ones, 1866 to 1907, at $595. Gold continues to rally back here, up for the fourth day in a row now, $1,867. Silver, just over $22. So that's a good technical number. Let's see if silver can close above that $22 number. Unfortunately, silver premiums just jumped a dollar. I mean, just happens just that fast, right? I get an email, right? So this morning, silver premiums were where they were yesterday, and all of a sudden today, add another dollar to the premium. I mean, this is how tight these physical markets truly are. I don't want to say the paper prices are irrelevant, but in silver it is. It's absolutely irrelevant. In the gold market, it still has some value, but still not like it used to be. And again, this is another, when we talk signs, this is another sign of how broken the markets are. Gas, diesel fuel, jet fuel. But they can tell you oil's 110. But what does that mean when they're throwing a $50 premium to make gasoline or diesel, Jason?
Man, I checked the gas prices more, especially since we got the little gas station here, Joe. And Joe was talking yesterday about, hey, Arizona, it's a lot cheaper here, but it doesn't feel too cheap here. It's expensive, man. I'm so happy I'm doing what I'm doing when it comes to fuel prices, because I used to put $400, sometimes $500 a month in gas in my car as I was driving 60,000 miles a year. I couldn't imagine if I had a job like that now.
Imagine what that would cost.
I mean, it's funny because it's rigged in a way that the more you seem to get ahead, the more they take it from you, Joe. It's so hard for the so-called American dream to happen when they hit you from all sides.
I think we're getting ready for the lost decade of stocks here. When you look at one of the things, one of these obscure rules that they changed way back when, I want to say it was in the 80s, when they allowed for stock buybacks. Do you know that 40% of this record run that we went on was attributed to just companies buying back their stock? And only 30% of it was from actual earnings, and 7% from dividends. 21% of it was big companies gobbling up little companies.
That's right.
Right. That was your economic growth. Well, now earnings are done. Are you right? Earnings right now, let's face it, the earnings are getting taken out to the woodshed, right, and getting their backsides beat in. And now all of a sudden, the stock buybacks, I mean, you're going to get the Apples and the Amazons and the Microsofts, right? They'll do their buybacks. But what about these other companies? Right? And again, this is a much different regime this time around. For most people that are still breathing, this is going to be a brand new stock market. And what I mean by that is all these guys out there, and they're trying to convince you to keep putting your money in it, keep doing it, because, hey, eventually it's going to come back. And they haven't been wrong. Right? Go back to 87. Go back to the tech bubble, the financial, right? It's always rallied back. But because of debt creation by the central bank. And with inflation roaring, you can't do it. Right? What's Jay Powell going to do when gas is $5, $6 a gallon? We're getting ready to head into the best case scenario is he stops raising rates.
Yep.
That's it. Can't go back to zero. What he really needs is more quantitative easing. Can't do that either. This is going to be, to Jason's point, and we used to see this in the past. When you go back to that Great Depression, right? We went, almost 2 decades.
25 years.
Right?
27 years.
Right? We did it again in the 60s, right? The same thing. This is going to be common. We're going to be, I don't want to say Japan, because let's face it, Japan, what are we on, year 40? And they're still nowhere close to where they used to be?
England.
But that's probably the better example. This is not going to be, and this is why I said I hate it for you, us guys, you're in your 40s and your 50s, 60s, even worse. And I'm begging people that they won't listen, but call Joey. He's got better products that you don't have to rely on Wall Street here. But Jason, I could see easily 10 to 20 years and we could still be talking about a Dow. And right now, the Dow's 31,000. We're not going to be at 31. I think we're actually going to be much lower than that. I really do. I think there's a good chance that we're going to be talking about, and I'm hoping, my fingers are crossed, that it's maybe Dow 20,000.
Right. If you look at the 25 years after 1929, that takes you to 1954. And then not even a decade later, you have another 27 years. Okay, or no, 27 years, then another 25 years. So there's only 8 years difference in those. And when the S&P went down, for example, and then just stayed below that. So what did they do? Well, you don't think England wanted to stay the world reserve currency, the pound sterling? It took World War II for them to give it up, Joe. And then America had it, right? What's it going to take for America to give it up? What calamity is coming? Because we haven't had that 25-year dip, Joe. Maybe it's a 50-year dip. How painful could it really get?
When all of this was created by debt creation, when you can't have debt creation because you have so much inflation, that certainly seems to make a lot of sense. Patriot Radio News Hour, final segment coming up. Final segment here on this Tuesday. Gold. I'm getting old. Man, it's getting harder to read this stuff. 1868. Right now on gold, up almost $20. Silver, 22.09. The Dow and the Nasdaq are down today. $5 liberties at $595 on the gold side today at 800-951-0592. Unfortunately, look for higher silver prices. Premiums are up today. This is a good sign for silver. Holds 22 here. My guess is we're going to see silver come back as well, along with gold back in 23, 24. And again, almost irrelevant what the spot price is, but we got to report it, so that's what we do. But Jason, and you've said this a bunch. You're almost saying like a mini dark ages for stocks. Right? Because since really 1971, the stocks have been able to overachieve because the central bank has very loose money policy, which is spread to the government, right? Because let's face it, the government as well. Think about 1971, the debt was $400 billion.
Well, people hear the term dark ages. It sounds like some horrible thing where nobody has electricity. Think of it as the Roman Empire reset. That's what happened. The dark ages were ushered in. That doesn't mean we're going to have 700 years like they had. But 50 to 100 years, it could very easily happen. A time and place where you have lords and peasants. And it sure feels like that's where we're headed. In my lifetime, lords and peasants, that's where we're headed. And I'd rather be on the upper end of that.
And again, talking about, hey, you don't own anything.
Yep.
Homes, we're kind of already there.
Yeah.
We're very, very quickly, we're getting dangerously close to saying half the people in the country don't own a home. Cars. So expensive, right?
You're going to get picked up. You're going to get picked up by a driverless car. You're not going to own it.
The lease thing, right? No, people not even owning a vehicle. The energy, the cost of energy, and this is really what they needed. They need oil to be $200 a barrel. They need gas to be $8, because that way, when you get your electric stuff, the cost will be comparable.
Yep.
Seriously. Because that's what's going to happen.
A double depression. How's that?
Yeah, and
it's called a double
depression.
That's what I think it's over.
But I think the days where you got these huge Wall Street returns, just it's not. They can't, right? Unless again, I guess the only way they could get like Dow 50,000 is, I guess, minimum wage would have to be $30 or $40, right? Get a new home's $1 million. It's
all just numbers.
A car's 250,000, right? I mean, that's what we're looking at.
It's just a number, but if you have an ounce of gold, it's a cow. There's equilibrium when you own things, and it doesn't matter. 250,000 for a car. What is that? It's a number. Did you get washed out by that number? That's what you got to ask yourself. We're gonna have a Roman Empire reset ushered in by a double depression. How's that, Joe?
800-951-0592. God bless everybody.